Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where bankruptcy is currently projected, and that's not a surprise. However, we have a bunch of vehicle parts from the last mission that we can get rid of, and that will help dramatically. We can also just deploy if we need to. Let's see what we can do here. What do we got? I know there were several of them. Well, not so far. I guess they were fairly light. I'm quite certain they were in here. And I know that I didn't already do this. Here we go. Light carrier. Okay, so we'll get rid of those for 113. There's also a couple of Saladin parts here. We'll get rid of those for 181. That will help. It won't entirely offset our costs, but that will indeed help. So at this point, I think we will need to deploy, and we don't currently have a flashpoint for this, I believe. So we'll need to check in here. Yeah, this looks all fine. I think we'll just go ahead and deploy a quick mission here. Let's do some mech warrior training.
Okay, good to go.
Hey, ready for orders.
I'm ready.
Okay, nothing to be done.
I'm ready.
Sounds good. So let's just go ahead and get ourselves a deployment here. Great. I think that we'll probably not do a particularly challenging mission if we can help it. We mostly just need a payday. And this seems like it might be a decent one. A polar battle, huh? I mean, it's a free priority salvage, and you can tell that that's going to be the case because there's only 2 max salvage. So between these two, it's going to round to 1. So that's fine. Free priority salvage means that we can get 1.6 mil, which means, not counting things like drop costs and repair costs, this would cover our entire month tick. That would be nice, and we should get enough for this, so that would be perfect. We are going to deploy our Atlas, our Battle Master, our Awesome, our Black Knight, and our Orion, our Hector, and our Wolverine. We don't have another mech here, although we should think about getting one and upgrading our Wolverine. That's something that we should definitely think about. Okay, Taboo, you should have Atlas affinities. Yes, indeed. Succubus, what do you got? Black Knight. Sounds good. Rain? Madcap Mark II or Battle Master? Battle Master it is. Paladin. Awesome. Okay. And now we just need a Hector, Wolverine, and Orion pilot. Here, well, Muffin Top has Orion affinities. They're not very good. But Coma, what do you have? You have better Orion affinities. Muffin Top, do you have Hector or Wolverine? No. So we'll probably move you there, put Coma into the Orion, and then Coldfire. Yeah, you have Wolverine affinities, so we'll do it like that. We will need another mech warrior if we're going to expand in this scenario, so we'll have to think about that as well. But let's just go ahead and deploy this. This is a battle in the polar biome of 4-skull difficulty, and this is kind of our second string mechs here, so we need to keep that in mind as we're playing through this. It's certainly going to be interesting. If we get unlucky, bad things could theoretically happen here, but I mean, these mechs should be powerful enough to handle anything that it throws at us. We'll see. I mean, literally anything in RogueTech can be a threat to you if you're unlucky enough. So, there is that. Choose your contracts carefully and you can get yourself some great salvage. Yeah, but we're not here to pronounce salvage. Pronounce salvage. I was reading the loading screen tip up here while I was talking, and that's a mistake. That is definitely a mistake. So we need to destroy the enemy patrol. We have an operation planned to raid a local government logistical base, steal everything that isn't nailed down, and sell it on the black market. There's a missing element in the plan. You. We need you to draw off a local government patrol so that we can move into the base unopposed and load the goods. We figure that you hit the patrol, they call for reinforcements, and then you take those out as well. Then we sell the stuff and split the take with you. Intentionally provoking a patrol to get it to call for reinforcements. What does it say about our jobs that this isn't the craziest mission we've done? Indeed.
Command interface.
Luckily, we won't have much for heat problems here in a polar biome. Okay, they're going to be up over here. They are going to call for reinforcements, and we do have allies back there. I would love to land up here, or perhaps like over here. That's not an option, so we're probably going to need to take this ridge here and fan out in this location. So that means that we'll deploy right where the game wants us to. And we'll see what we can see. Probably not very much here on round 1, and I'm okay with that. Actually, we do have a little sliver of LOS there.
Look at that terrain.
Are we not in combat?
Now I want ice cream.
We're not in combat. Okay. So we're just going to head up here. That gets us a contact, but that's fine. We're going to close in as much as possible.
On the move. Moving to position.
Okay.
Advancing, I guess.
Sounds good. Round 2. They move in phase 24.
I've got eyes on hostile reinforcements.
Yep, we knew those were coming. They're doing a little damage to our Wolverine there. That's fine.
Send me a real opponent.
So at this point, our Wolverine is going to move into this cover. And we can fire at any of these. We can fire at the Gallant, we can fire at the Jaeger, we can fire at the Merlin, or we can fire at the Great White. Huh. They still have 6 evasive pips even though it's round 2. I assumed that they hadn't moved, but I guess we moved twice in a row due to entering combat mechanics. So I guess that means we fire at the Gallant here, even though I'm not super happy about that. Okay. And that means that we should reserve now.
Standing by.
And allow them to move. I can't say I'm a huge fan of that. Ooh, a Vulture Mark IV. Okay. Good to know. Where were those guys? Ah, out over here. Okay. So the Merlin moves. Fires on our Wolverine. Doesn't get much done there. Perfect. Very happy to see that. And over here, we see that they have a Vulture Mark IV, a Savage Wolf Mark IV, a Yeoman, and a Marauder. Okay. Good to know. Our Battle Master is going to be reserved, I think. Phase 20. Let's see what they do. They have multiple movers here. The Vulture Mark IV moves up. Shoots at the Awesome. That's a lot of cluster. But not too scary.
Reporting. Heavy damage.
Yep.
I can't
To be
take much
expected.
more of this.
We're going to reserve again. The Savage Wolf moves up. Fires on our ally, the Dervish. We're okay with this.
Yes, Commander.
Okay. The Black Knight still needs to be reserved. Savage Wolf moves up. This is our ally, the Savage Wolf, firing on an enemy Great White. And this is the one that we want to hit right now. The enemy Marauder moves up, fires on that same Dervish. Doesn't get anything done. I like it. Wasting some ammo there. Sounds great to me. The Jaeger moves up. Fires on our Orion, which is skylined. Fair enough.
Reporting. Major armor loss.
Yep, that's to be expected. One more reservation.
Sure, no problem. Standing by.
Enemy Yeoman moves up. That's a lot of missiles. Okay. Hits that Dervish pretty hard. At this point, the Great White will move. And then we can start our movements. Good to know. There's a cluster of 3 mechs over here. The Great White moves back, fires on the Orion. That's unsurprising. What is a little surprising is that it broke through the armor already. That is definitely surprising to me. It's just in this arm, and in that arm is our LRM-20 Zeus. Okay, so we need to defend our right-hand side there. The Awesome is going to step forward to here. And we're going to fire on this Great White, I think. Unless we have better hit odds elsewhere. Technically, we do. The Jaeger is much better hit odds. Okay. We're going to Warlord. Hit that Jaeger with everything.
Acknowledge.
That's a structure exposure on the Jaeger.
I'm out of SRMs.
And he's unsteady.
I
Great.
heal.
At this point, the Hector moves in.
Moving
And I think
to
the Hector
position.
continues to hit that Jaeger. We'll tag first.
you say so.
That's a knockdown onto the Jaeger. Excellent.
I'm here.
Next up, the Boar's Head is going to step forward.
On my way.
We're going to drop artillery on this cluster of enemies. So 23.3. That is the highest hit odds on the Yeoman, but I'm going to go for the Savage Wolf because it's centrally located. It's running streak SRMs and dual PPCs. Okay.
Bon appetit.
No AMS over there. Which means we just shredded a lot of armor.
Waiting for orders.
Perfect. Now the Orion needs to move in, and I would like to protect its right side. So we're going to angle it like so.
On my way.
Okay. And then we're going to hit this Jaeger. This should be a kill. Unless we miss basically everything, but nope, we're good.
One less
'Kay.
target.
Jaeger down.
Awaiting
Next
orders.
up, the Black Knight is going to sprint in. We can
Roger
position
that.
here on the Black Knight, and we can fire on any of these. And the Great White is almost certainly the target here. Yep. So we're going to go ahead and Warlord that. Hit that Great White.
We'll go.
Not a ton of damage there, but we got some armor strip in.
Commander.
The Battle Master is now going to sprint forward, and we've got those
Roger that.
UAC 5s, which are actually going to be quite useful in this situation. 56%. Okay, so we can fire this on the Merlin, or we can fire it on the Gallant. And I think that we're going to fire it on the Merlin because we can also fire the lasers. We're going to Warlord. And let's see what we get. Not a lot of damage there, but enough. Okay, next round. Phase 23. The Gallant moves in. Fires on the Hector, does a decent amount of damage. But the Hector is fine for now.
Good to go.
Okay, the Orion moves immediately, and we're going to position it like this.
I copy.
And we're going to fire on, let's see, 61.8, 67.9. We're going to fire on the Hector, or rather the Merlin, I think, because even though hit odds are slightly lower, I think the Merlin hasn't moved yet. The Gallant has, and we can potentially do a lot of damage to this Merlin here. We're going to Warlord. And that's a dead Merlin. Perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping for right there. Okay, let's see what our ally does here. This is going to be the Dervish. It moves forward, fires on that Marauder, does a little bit of damage to it. In fact, that's decent splash damage overall. Nice. The Vulture Mark IV moves in, fires on that Dervish. That Dervish is not long for this world. There it goes. I'm not surprised by that. It was a very bold move of it to step forward like that. At this point, the Wolverine is going to sprint up over here.
Going turbo.
We can fire on the Great White, or we can fire on the Gallant, and that's what we're going for. Now, we don't have a lot of damage on this thing at this point. We can Warlord it, and I'm going to.
Tell me what to shoot.
Okay. Some armor shred there, but, I mean, it's only a 55-tonner. What are you going to do? The Savage Wolf closes in a bit, but doesn't fire. I love it.
Standing by.
The Battle Master steps forward to here,
I copy.
and then we can fire on the Great White or on the Gallant. Technically, hit odds are a bit better on the Gallant, but we don't get to fire most of the lasers. We'll fire on the Great White.
One low.
And we missed everything. Oof. Well, that's unfortunate. The Savage Wolf moves up to the ridge, fires on the Yeoman, gets a little damage in. We'll take it. We'll see if these guys cluster back together for our artillery. Great White moves in. Oof.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Commander.
I was hoping to prevent that.
Damn it! I'm wounded.
Indeed you are.
What's
Once
wrong?
again, that was a lot of clustering, and it's just what's going to happen when you have to turn like that. It's just super unfortunate that this arm was exposed as early as it was. So that means that we do lose the LRM-20 Zeus.
There. Okay.
We're going to move in and fire on this Gallant, and I'm hoping this isn't going to kill it. This thing has so much armor. But it's going to do a lot of damage to it. We're hoping to get these cleared up pretty soon. Yeah, I'm not surprised that they're firing indirect on the Orion, but they did miss. I'm hoping that we're not going to have to eject the Orion,
Orders?
but we'll see. The Awesome can close in over this way, or perhaps here. 50% versus 84. We're going to take the 84.
Position.
Fire on that Gallant.
Engaging target.
Okay. I mean, we've done a lot of damage to it.
Standing by.
The Black Knight is going to close in over here, and we're going to look to finish the job. Ideally. That is a structure exposure. Sadly,
Target's taken a critical hit.
our SRMs did not hit. If they had, that probably would have been a kill. As it is, the Boar's Head is going to, well, step over here.
I'm walking.
And we're going to fire on, I think, the Yeoman with our artillery here.
Cry havoc.
That was a terrible shot with one of the artillery, and in fact, both of the artillery did not go well there. Okay. The Marauder closes in a bit, does not fire.
Waiting on you.
At this point, our Wolverine is going to continue to close in,
Uh-huh.
and we're going to fire on this Gallant. This should be a kill.
No sweat.
There we go. Excellent.
I feel bad about shooting the little guys.
Now we just need the Timberwolf over here. Our friend the Savage Wolf moves up and does fire on the Great White. Getting no hits in, though. Sad. Well, it did fire completely indirect there. This guy moves phase 19. Sadly, we don't stand up our Orion until phase 1. Like, they had really good timing there. That's a second LRM-20 Zeus crit. That's getting very painful. We're going to move our Hector out over this direction.
Oh boy.
And we're
Here
just
we
looking to
go.
engage this Timberwolf as quickly as we can. We're going to Warlord it, even though hit odds aren't great.
Gate.
We did hit everything there, though, so that's good. He does move phase 19, so we're not really expecting to be able to get too much done to him.
Waiting for orders.
The Battlemaster is just going to position right in front of the Orion, and we're hoping to block LOS. That's all we're hoping for here.
Locking on target.
We did manage to do some damage to the Timberwolf, but he's going to move very, very soon here. Like, immediately. So we're not going to be able to use that instability. We'll see what he does. Goes for the Orion. Remember, we can't eject the Orion right now. Not until phase 1, and we're probably going to have to at this point, since they do have indirect fire. We're going to move in with the Black Knight, and at this point, the Timberwolf is starting to be in a lot of danger. That's a lot of armor removed from a lot of locations. That CT is very low. So the Awesome is going to move in here to ideal range. And we're going to light this Timberwolf up. Not ideal in terms of the damage spread there, for sure. The Marauder moves in but doesn't fire. The danger here, of course, is that missiles eliminate our Orion, and there's just nothing we can do about it. We got lucky there. No hits. Okay.
Ready for orders.
The Boar's Head is going to stay put, and we're going to drop artillery on this Yeoman. Once again, it's centrally located-ish.
Affirmative.
Okay, one artillery miss, one artillery hit. That's kind of the story of our lives. At this point, the Orion has to be ejected. There's no way around it. It's just taken too much.
Punching out.
Okay. So we'll get rid of that, and we're going to close in with the Wolverine. That's no longer a concern.
Sprinting.
The Orion, I mean. So now we'll fire on this Great White. It does move phase 20, but we can maybe get it reserved back with a pilot injury here. We'll see. $15. Perfect. Okay, so that is a super, super dead Great White. We're going to move in with our Battle Master. Light him up. There we go. So now we just need the reinforcements. The Vulture Mark IV moves up, fires on the Awesome. Doesn't do very much at all. They're going to be firing indirect for a while here as we close in. The Awesome is just going to move in and brace. And I'm completely comfortable with fighting this indirect at this moment.
Aye, aye.
The Black Knight is going to move in and brace. Our allies back here have done basically nothing, but the Savage Wolf is going to fire indirect at the Yeoman. Actually gets a number of hits there.
Standing by.
That's neat. We're going to sprint the Hector over this way.
Separating two locations.
And let's see what they want to do with their Yeoman. Okay, interesting.
I'm receiving you.
I think at this point, the Boar's Head moves in over here, and we probably go for the Marauder here. We're just looking for armor strip at this point. And we got some. Perfect. The Marauder moves, as expected.
Commander,
And the Wolverine is going to sprint over this direction
double time.
and sink that heat.
Yes, Commander.
The Hector is going to get into the cover.
Roger that.
Receiving you.
The Battle Master will get into cover
Position confirmed.
and brace. And let's see what they want to do. I don't care. That is very irrelevant to us.
Waiting for orders.
The Awesome is just going to move up
Confirmed.
and brace. We're not in any hurry to change this situation right now. We're moving forward a little bit here. We're moving towards them, and we will take this ridge, but not immediately. Additional damage going into that Yeoman. That's great. The Yeoman's a good target as it stands right now for firing with artillery. That said, the Marauder just parked right next to the Savage Wolf, which then spread out a little bit. Okay, fair enough. But then the Yeoman headed down this way, which means that it's once again a fantastic target for our artillery. Okay.
Roger that.
And that's internal damage into that Yeoman.
Scored a critical.
And quite a lot of it. Beautiful. What are they going to do? The Vulture makes its way down, fires on the Awesome. We don't care. We're cover and guarded. What are you going to do? Nothing. That's what you're going to do.
Good
Okay.
to go.
The Wolverine is going to continue to sprint over this way.
Moving fast.
Get closed in.
Orders.
At this point, I kind of... Let's see. We can make our way up over to here. Let's do it.
On my
We're going to
way.
make our way
Double
here
time.
with the Battle Master. We don't get LOS until next round. So that's fine by me. The Savage Wolf moves up, fires on the Yeoman, gets internal damage, and quite a bit of it.
Standing by.
I like it. The Awesome can, at this point, move up and get LOS on all of them if we want it. Our left arm is pretty damaged, so we'd want to angle something kind of like this-ish.
Double time.
And I'm going to
Go.
Vigilance the Awesome as well. Okay. Checking hit odds. 88, 74, 88, 63. We're going for the Yeoman. This is probably a kill.
Got the angle. Taking the shot.
There we go. One dead
Target
Yeoman.
Neutralized.
Next up,
Right here.
the Hector is not able to get into LOS here.
Copy.
That's fine. Okay, so they're obviously going to start shooting at the Awesome. And they missed almost all of that. Great. I love it. That's fantastic.
Yes,
At this
Commander.
point, the Black Knight, I would love to see it get into LOS. I don't think there's a way for it to,
Confirmed.
sadly. because we can't climb this here. But they're going to move their Savage Wolf, and of course they're going to shoot at the Awesome. They have no real choice there. Ooh.
I'm hit.
That was a lot into that arm.
System down.
They destroyed our Exchanger, which sucks as well. Technically, that was in that torso. Yeah, destroying that Exchanger is really unfortunate. Okay, we're going to fire on the Marauder here.
Firing full complement on it.
Structure exposure. Sounds good.
Commander?
And the Wolverine is going to sprint in. Not like it can do too much at this point.
Yes, Commander.
Okay, the Battlemaster is going to move in and engage.
On my way.
We're hitting that Marauder.
All weapons.
I think that's a knockdown. Yes, indeed. Perfect. Now, unfortunately, they get to move again before our Awesome does, and this could hurt a lot. But they went for the Battlemaster. It's all good. That was foolish of them. Very, very foolish. Does our Awesome have access to Ace
Yes,
Pilot?
Commander.
Tactician, Bandit. I don't think so.
I'm receiving you.
I think we're just going to back the Awesome off.
Let's move.
Okay. I don't want to risk losing that arm. We already lost an Exchanger and parts of the Orion, and that really sucks. So we'll not risk that.
Aye, aye.
The Black Knight, however, can absolutely engage forward. And we're going to finish off this Marauder. I want it gone. Just going through this torso.
Target confirmed.
There we go. One dead Marauder. The Savage Wolf is actually going to move up and melee our Battlemaster here. And it missed. Cool.
Standing by.
The Hector is going to sprint up and look for an LOS. Sadly, we don't get one.
Go fast.
I did actually expect that we would there, but no. Okay.
I'm ready.
At this point, the Atlas has to drop artillery on the Vulture 4. However, I think this is in minimum range. So we're just going to step
Move
back
order
here.
Received.
There we go.
Got it, Commander.
Good damage to the Vulture 4. Perfect. He moves phase 22, but we may be able to get a knockdown before that happens. Let's see. Who else do we move phase 23? The Wolverine?
Waiting for orders.
Get in here. Warlord it. This should be a knockdown on the Vulture. We did miss the PPC, but I think it's enough. Yep, perfect. Okay, so that reserves back that Vulture quite a lot. That then allows us to use the Battlemaster to get in behind their Savage Wolf. Now, we can't actually use our kick from here. So, it's going to have to be a punch. Sadly. But that's because we're lower.
Putting my weight into it.
Good hit. That should be a knockdown. Indeed. Okay, we'll see what this allied unit decides to do. Firing on the Vulture is fine. I do not mind that.
Yes, Commander.
The Hector is actually still unable to get into LOS unless we come down here, which is what we're going to do. We're going to position it here. We can fire on either of these, and hit odds are slightly better on the Vulture. Let's go for the kill.
Copy.
Structure exposure in the CT there, but didn't get the kill.
Orders.
That's fine. The Awesome is going to now move up here.
Affirmative.
We're moving back in with that. Go for the kill. Not quite enough,
Target
but
taken.
that's fine. We can follow up with the Black Knight.
Standing by.
No problem.
Confirmed.
Fire on that Vulture. This should be a guaranteed kill here. There we go. So we've definitely taken more damage than I would have liked to in this particular mission.
One less
There's no
target.
doubt about that. We may have to not repair the Orion for a while. We're just going to move up with the Boar's Head and launch the LRM here. Okay. Now he gets up. Let's see what he wants to do. Moves out over here. Interesting.
Ready for orders.
The Battlemaster is in position to stand in rear arc here, in ideal range for the UAC-5s.
Received.
We're going to Warlord it. Unfortunately, this is obstructed LOS, but let's see what we get. And that's a kill. Perfect. Definitely more damage into the Awesome and the Orion than I would have liked. Losing that Exchanger hurts a lot for the Awesome, to the point where we'll probably need to refit it. We were thinking about refitting the Awesome anyway, but that's probably something that will have to wait, along with refitting the Orion, because of the fact that we did not get paid for the recent Flashpoint missions. So that's a thing. And yeah, the Awesome needs work. The Orion needs a lot of work. The Awesome doesn't need that much work, just a little bit. But losing that Exchanger, I'm a little upset about that, I'll be honest. We don't have an LRM-20 Zeus, but I think we have replacements for that in stock. Okay. I was hoping that we would immediately see a heat exchanger in here, but no. That would have been too much luck. For sure. What do we want, then? Gallant part? That's not worth very much. That's really not worth very much. It feels like we kind of don't care what we get here. Maybe the Clan UAC-10. I guess that's okay. Engine Core 190, we can sell that. A Clan Double Heatsink, that's always nice to have around. And we got a Timber Wolf part, sure. Okay, well, that was definitely more painful than I would have liked, and honestly, the enemies weren't even all that threatening. They just happened to get clusters on the arms there. Kind of unlucky. I mean, the first one, I would argue, was quite unlucky. We were skylined, and that was my own fault. There's no doubt about that. We did skyline the Orion there, and that's because we used the Orion to scout it. And we had that weird double move thing going on where we moved twice in a row and we had to reserve past them even though it was round 2 to get rid of their 6 movement malice. It was awkward. I'll put it that way. I'm not making excuses. I'm not claiming that that wasn't my fault. To a large degree it was. To a large degree it was. But it's going to be quite expensive to get the Orion back up and running. The Awesome, I think, won't be too bad, but we'll figure that all out next episode. We do need to get past this financial report, and we are just squeaking through, so we're going to need to make some money next month. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.